Welcome everyone and welcome to All In, All United.
Remember the comment he made?
I thought some bars to these.
Run Ryan.
Ryan.
And everything. You have players out there.
I think the fellas will take it more serious.
What grade?
That one had to go.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, right now, Manchester United are
Good night, all, and welcome to All In, All United. We have JP, we have Simeon, and we have Christopher on the inside with your boy Nico, and we come to do the post-mortem on this tragic.
How very accurate. How very accurate that terminology.
On this tragic performance, guys. How are you going, Simeon? How are you going?
I mean, I was watching the, before the game started, he had the in memoriam, about, and to me, it felt like a funeral. It felt like it wasn't just, just burying Bobby, it was burying the whole team. I feel like the whole team was getting buried. Like, you know what? You were a great team, United, you had your time, but let's put it to bed. And then City, City came out and they finished the job, and it was hard, even though it was coming. It was so hard to watch it, take place. I mean, it was just, before the game, even before a ball even kick, you see a lineup and your head just drop,
Yeah, that's and whole weekend I bring out the reach, sir. JP, what's going on?
Yeah, well, I honestly, when I see the team sheet come out, I didn't want to watch the game. I'm being real honest with you. I didn't want to watch the game.
Yeah.
But I tell myself, you know what? Sometimes there's the games that, we might turn up in the memorial for Sir Bobby. I was looking at when Paddy Curran and them came out and I seen Bruno and them watching them, and I'm like, that had to inspire something in you as a Manchester United player to want to perform better, and I was hoping for it. But then when the game started and I saw what was taking place, it's like, these players don't care. The spirit of Manchester United is dead. So according to what Simeon said, it was a funeral for Manchester United.
Christopher?
I mean, yeah. Them 3 goals, them was the nails in the coffin. Yeah. I mean, it's safe to say that I guess the season dead, right? Feeling that way. I know. Probably just the Lexa Hammer talking, so.
Yeah, don't worry. After the review, you're gonna get back up in your step. And guys who looking in, welcome to the therapy session. These therapy sessions has really helped. So you can get interactive. You can start a vent. Send your messages. And tonight is the night event, right? And let me get one comment so far, right? So we have Richard Sibaran inside. Good night, and thanks for joining us.
Ten Hag resignation.
A Ten Hag resignation lineup. And to be honest, read when I messaged me, he said this lineup can I looking to go back and fix Ajax,
Yeah.
You say Ajax in a mess, Ten Hag feeling it for Ajax, and Ten Hag want to go back and fix Ajax because wow. And we were getting to that, because but watch me. Yeah, so what I want to get into, right, guys, just as what Simeon and more or less everybody would have said, is this the end, or do we accept, or do we finally accept now that this is our fate, that we are fully a mid-table club, and we not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel? Christopher?
No. I mean, I want to say some, optimistic things because, all right, you see with the all right, so with the takeover United, right, the buyover United, right, it are too many things that are up in the air with regards to, let me say, when Sir Jim gonna buy the whole club, if it is they even gonna ratify, at board level the whole 5% buyout in the first place. So I mean, the only way this gets any better is if it is, I mean, okay, so Jim is the one who's going to buy the club. He gets control, brings in some of the best of the best to really fix the upper echelon of the club. That's the only way it gets any better because the entire club structure is riddled with incompetence and it is infecting the playing squad. And it has infected the squad. Right? So
when you finish.
So yeah, so I don't think United will never be a mid-table club. All right. I mean, you look at other teams that would have gone through some turmoil, whatever it is. I mean, if you really look at it, probably turmoil that United have gone through, I mean, is either Europa or Champions League we'll be making or not. We've never really reached a point where it's like Tottenham, where Tottenham have no Europe this season.
Hey, what you saying, Christopher? Be careful. Be careful. Be careful.
No, I'm just saying. You're looking at Newcastle.
This been recorded.
I know. I'm just saying. You look at Newcastle. When Newcastle was going through their headache, and they, right before they sailed to the Saudi investment fund and all of that, right? They almost got relegated, right? And we have been going through pain for the better part of 10 years. And, we haven't really reached that level of almost relegation, fighting of relegation, thing like that, right? It's just a whole rinse and repeat cycle where a manager will come in, have a good season. When it is now, you had to kick on from the good season and build on that season. The club hierarchy just don't care enough to, push for that, and they just good at mediocrity.
So JP, I wanted to chime in on something that Christopher would have said there, right? And so you would have said that Sir Jim Ratcliffe, most likely, we don't know when that takeover will happen. So is it that you think, because from what the talk is that he come into clean house, come into clean house, and is it that just that toxicity at the point that maybe even coaches fighting for the job? Do you think that is also weighing on this team and maybe trickling down to the players and the performances?
I think it has to be. It has to be because I listened to Gary Neville talk about it after the game too. And he is one who has been, and not just this game, he has been saying over and over the performances is not just as simple as the manager, the crop of players, is the whole structure. And you see how Christopher touched on Newcastle. Newcastle was almost relegated. When they got money and structure in the club, Newcastle didn't make a set of changes to the team.
It's true.
They didn't buy a whole set of players. They didn't ship out a whole set of players.
They get a world-class coach either.
Exactly. So it was just a matter of structure in the club and stability in the club. And look at where
and a direction. A direction. Being given from the top. Everybody, pushing in the same direction.
Right. So you see the results of that. So I think it has to be affecting what is going on at the club, because the players we have, they can't be that bad, and the manager we have was the man who, everybody was looking at as the next manager. So we get the manager we wanted. We have decent players in his squad, but something just always seems off, and that's how I always feel watching the team play. It's like something just off.
It
Like
just
what
off.
it is, you can't put your finger on it.
Yeah. Simeon, I want to chime in on this before I get into the comments.
I mean, I agree. I mean, we all know the structure is messed up. We all know we need a football director. We need someone to come in and have a structured way of doing things, bring in players, train them. But the issue, I mean, what I see going on with this team this year, this is why we're not winning games like we need to, is that we can't score goals. It's very simple. Like, we've been a bad team for a long time with no structure, but we always had players to put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah.
I think this season you see in Rashford. I don't know good about Rashford. I think I don't think his head's in the right place to lead a team, and we put him up on a pedestal to be his leader, and he's not. So when things go bad with him, his head drops. He can't pick himself up. Like Ten Hag said this. His whole game plan today was to sit back and also to press. Like he all week he talked about, my team presses. We get the ball back at a good ratio, and he's right. I mean, the man talk a lot of tutu, but he's right about that. Twice today we get the ball on four of our guys against 2 City defenders. Twice. And what happened? How many goals we score? None. Like, and even when Rashford got 1-1 and he, bring the ball down, he swears goal. I mean, we ain't scoring goals. For years, as bad as we've played, we always score, a breakaway goal or something, but we ain't scoring goals, even when we in the perfect place to score, because we just doing nonsense. And until Ten Hag, has found a way to, I don't know if he believe in the wrong players, mainly Bruno and Rashford. Until he finds a way to break away from them, I don't think too much is going to change that department, because I mean, they play real nonsense, and if we don't fix it, he gonna get fired. I mean, it's straight up. But I said, this is beyond, the structure is bad, but what I see on the pitch today and the levels of, incompetence and just, you look at, I mean, I'm rambling, but look at Bruno. I don't know if you guys sexually want to talk about Bruno, but I could talk for an hour about Bruno. But it's when we're losing to see how the players react. Yeah, you're mad. Yeah, you will kick. But Bruno trying to kick people, you're missing. You can't even catch him. Anthony, come on. You trying to fight somebody. It's like, fine. But play some football now. Like, try and play some football. Do something.
So Simeon, I hear you, but to me, if we were scoring goals, it would have been paper over the cracks. In fact, it's not crack again. It's not no crack again. It's a big drain, right?
Yeah, but
it would have been paper over a big drain, and what that would have done? That would have slowed the process that we have to go through to maybe come out at the end of this, And that is my point of view. That is my point of view.
I agree with you, bro.
Yeah. Right. So let me get into some of the comments, guys. Guys who on the inside, I like and I share. Right, that will go a long way as well. Right. So Dixie and Banga, good night. Hey
Good
guys.
night, Miss Dixie. Good night.
Good night. Gunadad, yeah, we are. No worry. The Arsenal man on the inside, right. United is the gift that give one.
I will never understand Arsenal, man.
Right?
It's
Let
like
me enjoy yourself.
what it is always so arrogant about. What it is Arsenal arrogant about.
Exactly. Right? Jody on the inside. Blessed night,
Have
everyone.
nothing for them to be arrogant about.
Right? So they really think Ole's gonna beat City. All right, he's an Arsenal fan too. Right? Because we have crap owners, and that whole takeover fiasco is harrowing. That being said, some of our boys can't seem to do the basic things. It's like we forgot how to shoot, just shoot, And today, like a few times before, I think I had got it fabulously wrong, right? Plus, we have far too many injuries, but football is a cycle, so we can only hope. Agreed. Well said.
Well said indeed.
Well said, Dixian. Right? That sounds like a chat GPT kind of thing, but you know what I mean? Yeah, that was good. Right? Chris, right? No manager will fix this in a year or two because this club is rotten. Jody, gonna dad, at you, right? And your team, right? I'll keep a battle on the outside, on the side, a battle on the sideline. You understand, Davian? Good night, Davian. We feel your pain, boy. We feel your pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we could get into, guys, we could get into the first half. Honestly, I think we had some decent performances in terms of keeping City at bay.
Yeah.
In the first half, and I think that one moment that definitely we were getting to the penalty. I think that kind of threw us off, but I still think we recovered after in the first half, but it just wasn't enough. So, JP, let me get your thoughts on the first half now, and also you can touch on the penalty at the same time.
Yeah. Before I could say anything, I want to talk about the lineup that was chosen to begin with.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
So to me, it was strange, and then to hear Ten Hag say leaving on Varane and Reguilon is tactics. I don't understand what tactics that is. I don't understand what he was going for, where that is concerned. And again, having every time I see Bruno on the right, and I would have said it on this podcast many times. Anytime I see starting Bruno on the right, I already know there's going to be a problem. Because they're leaving whoever playing right back on their own basically, because Bruno is going to be going centrally more often than not. McTominay, you're playing McTominay off Hoyland as if he is this great influential creative player. He has scored a few goals for us, yes, but that decision making there for that it not making sense. So the first half, yes, we didn't get run over like I thought it may have been. We were still putting up a fight, but the usual thing, when we get chances, we did not take our chances. I think had we taken one of those chances at least, it
could have made a game of it.
Something to the spirit, it could have raised the spirit and we could have given City a better fight. And I think we were going really well up until that contentious, outrageous penalty call that went against us because
I could have taken off the TV. I could have stopped watching football.
I couldn't believe it when I hear them saying they call him back bar, and when I see it, I was like, okay, so then it should have like at least 12 penalties in a game because
exactly
players do that all the time at set pieces. What is a corner? What is a free kick?
Yeah, this happening for nearly every set piece.
Every set piece that the players do.
And Rodri wasn't even going to get to the ball.
Exactly.
He wasn't going to get to the ball. So I don't understand that. So okay, if VAR reviewed that, why VAR didn't review when Hoyland was running and Stones nudged him off balance?
Yeah.
Why didn't review that? So very consistency review. If you're reviewing something like that, then go back and review when Stones nudged him off and he was off balance on goal.
Yeah.
Review that too. But
no, the consistency there, It's just
exactly.
if it's a call against United, then
Yeah.
If there's a call for United, hell no. That's the consistency.
No.
You understand? You go have a man like Romero in a Tottenham game, hand batting on the ball, playing Michael Jordan in the box. Not a penalty. He did
Exactly.
the same thing against
But
Arsenal.
Gabriel,
Definitely a
but
penalty.
Gabriel, hold on, hold on. Worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
He would
man
have
do a
done worse
WWE
than
move
he
on
stopped
him.
the worst in his tracks.
WWE
I mean,
move.
But
I don't think.
even
I mean,
after that, I think we were okay.
Yeah.
No.
54?
We-
Oh, okay.
we
Simeon,
making
Simeon, go ahead,
you
if you wanna
No,
go.
change that was off the right.
yeah, I don't think watching it in slow motion. It looked like a penalty. I mean, it looked like much. But when you watch it in real speed, you just gotta shake your head because and it wasn't really a grab. It kind of like just. I mean, it wasn't even a real pull per se. It was nothing really. Just contact. That happens all the time. We all know that. But what really get me is you take all this time to look at that. And it has to be a clear and obvious.
Exactly.
That was nothing. It really was
Exactly.
nothing.
It had to be a clear and obvious mistake or a clear and obvious miss.
Yeah. So to wait so long, to watch that so long,
Exactly. Then it wasn't clear and obvious.
yeah. Then the
That's
referee
what
went.
the common sense,
Referee went, probably scratching his head like, why watching here?
Exactly.
Say, well, I guess
No,
there's
and
a
then
penalty.
Michael Oliver was on VAR. So the instruction from VAR was, I hate United, get the penalty.
I mean, you watch that first half, like City is a great attacking team. We all know this. They're going to find a way, and they were finding ways around our defense. As good as most of the guys played, we had Arambat in there playing decent, defensive work. He was in there doing his job. Arambat was. But City is always going to find a way around the edges, behind the loft. They're always going to find a way to score. They didn't need that help from VAR. They really didn't. But I think once Arambat came off, I don't know why they pulled him off, but that's another story. You guys go ahead with that.
Right. So I did touch on that. Let me touch on this comment one time. Right, Dixian, you're on point. Right?
Yep,
You say,
yep.
actually the turning point was subbing off Amrabat for Mount. Why would you do that?
Yes.
Right? Come now, man. Did Mount even touch the blinking ball? I can't even remember if Mount touched the ball. Hey, Dixian, you're on the
I
fire
have,
tonight.
I have a question. I don't know if it is all. If I just want to think on that. Why it is Ten Hag will take one of the best number 10s in the league? Because, I mean, I know Simeone don't like Bruno, but, the facts are that Bruno is one of the best creative midfielders in the league, right? And, I mean, you all can shake your head all you want. There are people that have more knowledge and have played against him, like Kevin De Bruyne, who have acknowledged that Bruno is one of the best creative midfielders in the league. That's a fact. Right? If you don't like him, that's fine.
But the best, I
The
find
fact
the
that
best
the fact
is
is-
stretching it, man. I find
No.
the best is
I said
stretching
one
it.
of the best. If it is you look at all the creative players in the league, there are very few that measure up to what it is Bruno's output is creatively. Right? That's a fact. But he does his best work at number 10, not at right, on the right. Right? You look at Mount, you put in Mount in the middle of the pitch, he looking lost. I mean, I don't know if it is maybe you should try Mount on the right. I don't know. That's just an opinion of mine because to me he has a good delivery with regards to crossing. You understand? He has good enough energy. You don't give him the number 7, so you might as well pretend he's Beckham and put him on the damn right. I mean, shit.
Right or left? Right or left?
Because I
Phil.
mean, it ain't gonna really take
Sorry.
much for him to outperform the current right midfielder right now. It ain't gonna take much because Anthony is garbage, right? Sancho, well, okay, let me not talk about Sancho, and then you put in Bruno there, and Bruno is garbage on the right. You understand? So come out there. I mean, you're done by the damn man. I mean, do something with them besides trying to displace, as far as I'm concerned, what our best number 10 on the team. You're displacing our best creative midfielder in the team. You understand?
I mean-
Starving his creativity out on the right. Just to squeeze in Mount whoever it is in that midfield, no man.
Can I say one thing
Yeah,
before we
sure,
get in there?
Yeah, sure.
Why all the players we buy, why we can't use them where we buy them? Why every player we have, Aaron Bat, we buy you for these games, go on the bench. Mount, we buy you to play, this position, left or whatever, with Bruno playing, go play somewhere else. Bruno, you are number 10, play on the right. Rashford, well, he liked playing left, so I guess he go stay there. But like every move Ten Hag has made, like he buys these players who are supposed to play one place, and then like every single thing he does is like, you know what, you ain't good enough, or only two players like he can't move, and it seems like it's a few players he can't move that causing a whole bunch of nonsense. Bruno and if
Well, he
Bruno
moved
can't
Bruno.
play at number 10,
He moved
pick him
Bruno.
out.
Well, he moved Bruno to the right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Phil, good night, sir. Right. Welcome to the therapy session. Right. You're free to vent. There's no explicit, right? But you're free to vent at the venting session tonight. The plan is that, or the hope is that when we leave here, we leave in better with a better, clearer mindset than we came with, right? So, Phil, anything you want to get in with, you can get in, and we can pick up from there. You're on mute.
You're on mute by Phil.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But yeah. Good night. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, Phil. Good night.
With regards to what we're discussing tonight, with regards to that, I mean, it's a result that I kind of saw coming, and there's no venting, because at the end of the day, today was boys versus men. Today was identity versus non-identity, right? Up to now for this season, I still can't identify what is the philosophy Ten Hag is trying to instill this season into these guys, right? Now, I remember in the first season we were excited by Ten Hag because one of the things he mentioned is that players have to work for their position and there's no favoritism, right? And it's almost like this season is something totally different. There's about 4 or 5 players, maybe 4, that are in this club that can always guarantee a start, and they play BS week in, week out, right? That's Marcus Rashford, that's Bruno Fernandes, Anthony, and to some extent, maybe Scott McTominay, right? Those guys, I don't think, can take Manchester United forward. A lot of people are questioning Bruno Fernandes based on his captaincy because he's not the ideal captain that we should have as a club, right? He gives away the ball too much. He spends most of the time whining and complaining to referees, and he doesn't protect his players. But I guess that's a conversation for another time, or a conversation later on in the podcast, right? I will say, though, that it could have been 5 or 6 love had it not been for Andre Onana, who has not redeemed himself as yet, because it's going to take a couple more games or even the rest of the season to redeem what he's done for this season so far. But it's going to take, but at least he is slowly but surely turning into the keeper that we bought him for. We still have to see that ball playing goalkeeper, that we saw in the Champions League final against Man City last season. Right, we have yet to see that from Andrew, and that we've seen we've seen it maybe once or twice in a game, in every single game. But with that ball playing goalkeeper that we know Andrew Onana to be, right? I'll give it back to you guys, but there's so much more to unpack when it came to this game, and with regards to Mount and Amrabat and certain players that should be in the team week in, week out that aren't Ten Hag's favorites, right? So
yeah, so let me get some of the comments. Right, so Judy again, like Olive failed to realize that Oliver was on VAR. He don't
Michael
give
Oliver.
us calls when you're in the pit, so obvious that will go against us. Yes, it's terrible. And again, even when I think about as somebody will say the handball against Tottenham, come on, you know, and so much others really season the pull long and Hoyland earlier as well. So much things doing against us.
Yeah, the offside they gave for Garnacho's goal against us now.
Exactly, you know, it's so much. Yeah. Hey, Alan, good night, man. I am sensing a developing pattern with our team. The owners collect the lion's share of the profits, give us a shoestring budget to buy 2 or 3 players, which will hopefully get us at least 3rd or 4th spot ensuring Champions League football while hiding the true problem with the club, with the lack of competitive players. And I want to answer to this as well. Can we really? I think a bigger question is the decisions we make as a club on players, because they are the team is given money to. Ten Hag was given money, but then look at who he spent it on, right? Mount, case in point, we all knew that Mount wasn't the answer. We all knew that Mount wasn't the player we needed. How much money? About 70 million for Mount.
55.
Right. That in itself was a terrible decision. So yes, we may not be getting the players we want, and my philosophy behind not getting the players we wanted, because players don't want to come to United because of the toxicity at the club. Because agents know what's going on. Agents have players in the club, and they are friends with other agents, more or less, and they could say, hey, you have a good upcoming player, United is not the place for them. And I think that is a big thing we're going on. So Ten Hag could have how much money, some of the players that we really want, they're not going to come to United until that structure at the top really change, you know. So that was my comments on that. Right? So Jody saying, JP, you are right. If you look at the chances created in the past couple seasons, Bruno was on top of the list.
Yeah, that is factual.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand people may not like him, but you gotta go the far.
I mean,
Yeah.
I love Bruno. We look back at the beginning. I love Bruno. He was one of my favorite players. I was saying Bruno for captain. Bruno, you know, I was arguing that Bruno was better than De Bruyne. I was that into Bruno. But then I start seeing the manner. When we start losing. I realized that this man, like, once teams figured him out, once they realized that Bruno can't take a ball in a tight space and move, once they realized that he only have, all he could do is get good passes off, and have, once you crowd him out, he could get locked out of the game. You could take Bruno out of the game. I don't care if he's number 10 on the right side. You put that body on Bruno, he's done for the game. Bruno can get he's a good player, but he can get locked out of the game. Bruno doesn't have that.
Well.
Bruno doesn't have. You look at Bernardo Silva. Pep talk about Bernardo Silva. Same qualities except one. Silva has that touch. He has the ability to draw past players and have the ball control. Once Bruno get touched and he get rough up, Bruno can get taken out of the game. You give Bruno time to look up and play a ball. Yeah, I mean, most of the time you hit it. But once you play good teams that could prepare for that, you're in trouble. Watch today. That second goal that scored. Bruno get the ball. get players around him, but he will hit the home run ball. So what happened? We lose the ball. Rashford on the other side running down looking for the ball, he didn't get it. So he come back one time and score because Rashford didn't make it back, and Haaland at his far post because the other two defenders went with somebody else. You can't lose. You can't give away the ball that much, especially against City. You have to say, okay, I can't. It works sometimes. I'll give it to you. You know, Bruno could do what he could do, but you have to say to yourself, well, I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna keep the ball together. I'm gonna play a safe pass. That way we could get a team in a good position. But Bruno just hits the ball. I wish I was wrong, but today I was telling Kareem, I'm like 2 seconds later, he tried to hit a ball on the outside of the boot to go to who was on the right side? I forgot it was Dallo or somebody.
Dallo, yeah.
It didn't come off. That ball put the attacker in the corner where he had to wait. I mean, he ain't gonna score, go for the corner. But the ball he didn't have to make. He didn't have to
low percentage pass.
Yeah.
Low percentage pass.
And right away, City counter-attack. Find that open man. I mean, I wish I wasn't right about Bruno. Trust me, I love his work rate. I love his passion. But when his passes don't come off, and when he start, you realize that we're losing. He man start kicking up, and I'm like, he doesn't do enough to pull his team together. Maybe in a different team, he might be better, but right now in this team, he's not doing much to help us.
JP, you had a point?
Yeah, right. So you see how you ended there, Simeon? What I was coming to say is, I think in the last 10 years, the only player Manchester United make a profit off is Daniel Jameson. So players come into Manchester United as top talent
and deteriorate.
And we killing careers.
Yeah.
We have been killing careers for the past 10 years. So Bruno come to Manchester United and was balling. Everybody was talking about Bruno, Bruno doing. How he come and he changed his team. What happened? He stayed at Manchester United.
Yeah, exactly.
And he become the savior. And everything fall on Bruno, and it's the same thing with Rashford. He became the savior last season, and everything fall on Rashford. So now if Rashford take 2 bad touches in a game, he's the worst player in the world. This Manchester United club has not been a team for quite some time, and we have been relying on individual brilliance.
That's a fact.
So Bruno only knows about being Manchester United's savior. He did about playing that team sport in Manchester United. When you go to Portugal, he's remember how to play team football.
Exactly. It is different Bruno.
United,
different Bruno for Portugal.
To me, people say that, but it's not a different Bruno. It's the same Bruno. It's just he's in a functioning team.
In a proper a team with proper structure.
Team functions. It's not that you get the ball. If you pass it to a midfielder, okay, he's gonna make a proper pass, he's gonna bounce it back to and then maybe run into the space and it all 1-2 whoever it is. Look who it is Bruno had to pass it down ball to. McTominay. That's who he had to pass it down ball to. You understand? McTominay just hide from the ball. You understand? If it is somebody come near to McTominay, an opponent, it's like McTominay just go behind them and pretend, oh yeah, he marking me, but that's how McTominay plays football. You understand? He doesn't play like a proper midfielder.
Phil, you want to touch on this?
You understand? This Manchester team we're looking at right now. All right? Yeah, sorry. Well, I'll just wrap it up.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
This Manchester team we're looking at is a flicking hodgepodge collection of players from different managers that were fired in this club. You understand? It's still have Van Gaal players in that squad. It still have Mourinho players in that squad. It have Ole players in that squad.
Who's the Van Gaal players in that squad?
Luke Shaw.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, but Van Gaal by Shaw. Yeah, so look at
it wasn't Fergie who would have signed off on Shaw before he came?
No. Van Gaal bought Shaw from Southampton.
Right.
Yeah. Southampton. But what I'm saying is that you compare to a team like Liverpool, right? Liverpool big problem, one of the biggest problems identified in Liverpool last season was they had an aging midfield.
Yeah.
And they needed a full midfield revamp. You understand? So said, so done. Then brought in 4 midfielders and ship out the rest, you know.
Exactly.
So Bosley, McAllister, Endo, Gravenbach. Totally revamped their whole midfield with players that Klopp wanted. That play the type of football that Klopp wanted them to play. You understand?
Yeah.
For the longest time at Manchester, I mean, how long we talking about Manchester United need a proper central midfielder? Since Fergie time, we talking about that. Scholes had to come out of retirement and play central midfield and thing.
Yeah.
Giggs had to drop into central midfield because we're so lacking a proper midfield at this club. You understand?
Crazy.
For how long we seeing this? We only know you realize we only know graduate from McFred. We only
And like
know
we
graduate from McFred.
and like we haven't improved. Like we
No,
haven't
well,
improved. Like,
it is ridiculous.
still-
It is
like we
ridiculous
still
what goes
gone
on at a
back.
club of the stature of Manchester United, of the reputation of the stature of our place in world football.
Crazy.
That for however long, for a decade and more, we're talking about, yes, we need to have a proper midfield in place, and it has never gotten done.
Yeah, because we haven't changed the structure. We haven't changed the
You
structure from the
understand?
top. So if we haven't
Look
changed the
at
structure from the top, then
Look at
there's
last
nothing will
season.
change.
Casemiro was our most influential midfielder, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have any cover for Casemiro. If Casemiro get a red card, the guy you look at, he gets suspension of it is, the whole midfield going to crap. That does not happen at a proper club.
Exactly.
So what I will say are a few things with regards to Bruno Fernandes. With regards to chances created, for every one chance that Bruno creates, you guys got to count how many times he's given away the football before he pulls off that chance created. That's one, right? I don't believe in this player is different for country versus club because football is all about decision making. Football is played with the mind first and the feet second, right? Some players do not have a high IQ. Some players just don't have a high IQ when it comes to playing football. And Bruno Fernandes is one of those players because when it comes to decision making, Bruno Fernandes is not up there with the likes of
But for Portugal, Phil, the man decision making
So
on
how
point.
how come his IQ is
Portugal, the man
a
decision making
million?
on
He have a
point.
million IQ at Portugal, but 0 IQ at United. I don't understand.
because Bruno Fernandes' position can always be replaced in the Portugal national team. We at Manchester United do not realize that because
But then an IQ problem.
it is an IQ problem because
There's a
IQ
mentality problem. There's a
I'll tell
mentality
you why.
problem.
I'll tell you because your IQ will always remain sharp once you know there's somebody on the bench that can replace you. Okay, don't get it twisted. Luke Shaw had a low IQ until Alex Telles came. David De Gea was going through a slump until what's his name now that we had.
Who?
Romero.
Romero?
Yes, Romero, and also, oh gosh, the English.
Oh, Henderson.
Right. And I'm just saying some of these players get too comfortable in their position, but once you know that your position is under threat, your IQ will always be sharp like that. Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire, those guys are not needed. Those guys are not needed by their national country, but all of a sudden they're needed at Manchester United.
Maguire started for England.
Maguire is Southgate love child.
Exactly.
But man don't drop Maguire for nothing.
But so
and let's defend him like them mothers on TV6 and thing. Oh, he's a good boy. That also get us defend Maguire.
Let's be real. You can take Maguire out of the England squad and put other centre backs in there, and England will still.
We all know this, but Southgate going to take him out.
But what I'm saying about Bruno Fernandes is that his decision is not up there. right? I look at number 10s like, our other central midfielders like your Phil Foden, your Bernardo Silva. You go over to Arsenal and you look at Martin Odegaard. You go over to Liverpool and even look at the likes of McAllister, right? Or even Thiago Alcantara when he was playing constantly for Liverpool back in the day as well too. Go to Man City. Look at Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne, I think, is almost the perfect number 10. The perfect number 10.
But man, and you can put John Stones in that category too. Eh?
What do you mean?
The way the man balling in that midfield right now.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, Bruno Fernandes is not that player that United can rely on to get them out of a ditch, right? Because when United go 1-0 down, then all of a sudden Bruno Fernandes wants to drop deeper for the football and not retain his position as the number 10. So when he drops deeper for the football, that means whoever's playing the deep line midfield position now got to either go forward or move left to right. Right?
Have you ever thought about why he drops deeper for the ball? Who gets any ball to Bruno?
Who gets the ball to Bruno? But Bruno is not giving others a chance to get the ball to him.
Who gets any ball to him? Which one of our midfielders get any ball to Bruno? Which one of our midfielders could collect the ball and travel with the ball into the opponent half and create an opportunity?
So the only ball progressive midfielder we have right now is Scott McTominay. That's the only ball progressive midfielder we have.
Yeah.
But he doesn't progress the ball.
And
So
check this out.
you call
If
him a
Bruno
ball
get-
progressive midfielder who does not progress the ball? Scott McTominay doesn't progress the ball.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't.
Scott McTominay is the only ball progressive midfielder we have at Manchester United.
He
Anytime.
has the ability.
That doesn't tell you how bad we are. That is tell you how bad we are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what are you talking about? What ball progression does Scott McTominay do?
Maybe he tries to run with the ball. He tries
Yeah,
to run
exactly.
when he
Yeah,
has
exactly.
when he has
Exactly.
space in front of him.
So we give him man.
I hear
we
the
give him man
operative
credit
would.
for
I hear the
trying, so he
operative
getting-
would
So he's
try.
getting a trying trophy because he tries to do it.
Well,
So
he top scorer.
defensively.
He top scorer in the team right now for the season. Scott
Exactly.
McTominay.
Question. If you give, we all know Bruno ain't progressing the ball through midfield.
Thank you.
Oh, that's one thing. Okay, so he's
That's
getting
not his-
ball,
that's
he
not
look
his
up and he pass.
function.
Okay, that's Bruno again. You can't kick the ball to Bruno when somebody on his back. You know what's going to happen? You get tackled. One little touch here, one little touch there, you go fall down. And look to the referee. He might get a foul or not. Like Bruno can't hold the ball up. He can't hardly see him turn with the ball. He can't take that kind of pressure you get in the Premier League when you get the ball with the back to goal. That's not his game, and he has no counter. Like he doesn't have the foot speed or the ability. I mean, you guys probably play more football than I did, but the way you use your body to take that kind of pressure and move the ball, like Bruno has many skills. He just doesn't have that kind of ability to take the ball in a tight spot and move the ball. And that's, I mean, once you realize that as a defender, that's all you gotta do with Bruno, because he was our main, chance creator. So that's what I'm saying.
So Jody.
Jody said-
No, wait.
Go ahead.
Two things. Because this whole caliber of players around you, it almost seems like, based on this comment, that you have to have better players around you to play better, right? Who has better players around them when they're playing for international career versus club career? Scott McTominay for Manchester United or Scott McTominay for Scotland? Answer that question. Scott McTominay for Manchester United has better players around him, or does Scott McTominay for Scotland have
No,
better
for
players?
Scotland.
I don't understand the point they're trying to make.
No, but for Scotland.
He is
Scotland. Okay.
he's a
No, I
physical
think-
player. Scotland has
and-
played the type of football that he could play.
Exactly. So I say
Oh,
Scotland.
so
I
that-
say
Big and tall.
Scotland because of the structure. Because and same we say in Portugal have a structure. Scotland have a
Big and
structure.
tall. He just boots the
So
ball up.
McTominay
He big
might
and
look
tall. He chop it
better.
down. He head it wherever it is. He
Might look
effective.
better and we have a structure that
I
Scotland
don't
playing,
understand the
right?
point they make him.
No. But Jody's saying that Bruno don't have the caliber of players at United as Portugal, right? I'm just addressing Jody's comment. That's
Sure,
all
sure.
he's saying. Scott McTominay has low IQ players at Scotland versus the players he has at Manchester United. Yes, Scott McTominay performs better for Scotland than he does for Manchester United.
I have a question mark over that.
But they play a low IQ style of football, which is just.
I
good
just
football at
addressing
City
Jody's
Hall,
comment.
man.
I just addressing Jody's
Yeah,
comment.
yeah,
He's saying players. He ain't mentioned nothing about IQ. He ain't mentioned nothing about structure.
Yeah.
The comment says Bruno Air have caliber of players at United as Portugal.
Yeah.
True or not true?
Right?
I feel you playing a semantics NFL.
Yeah, but everybody have a point. Everybody have a point, and I think the point is valid as well, right? So with the question here, and I want to come back to this as well, right? The manager starting to worry me, starting to look stubborn like the previous managers, right? The manager said the team carry out the tactics, but I find we look like 10 headless chickens, especially in the second half. So the question around this and the manager is the decision to, one, take up Amrabat halftime, and two,
That was a bad decision.
and I know he justified the decision with Hoyland. Would you agree with some of these decisions, JP?
Honestly, I have been questioning Ten Hag for this season a lot, and today again, that Amrabat decision. Amrabat is a professional, and you can't tell me that the yellow card had you so worried that you took him off at halftime, because that's the only reason I could think that he may have taken him off. But Kyle Walker could get a yellow card on any day for Man City, and Pep will not pull him off. He will trust his players, a senior player, to keep his head and do the right thing.
No,
So,
City don't pass money to them referendum. He again a second yellow. What are you talking about?
No, apart from that, Christopher, managers
116 charges against them and them still winning
No,
trouble.
I hear that. But
Money
but
pass.
apart from that, any other team, most teams, they will trust the player that, or at least give them another 20 minutes or so into the second half before you decide to pull them.
Right.
You're not going to pull Amrabat, because when Amrabat came off, the wheels totally fell off.
Yeah, fell off.
Because McTominay is a jogger in the midfield.
Yeah,
When
exactly.
he plays in the defensive mid, he does
A
not
cone,
put
a
in the
cone.
work that Amrabat
Nah,
was
man,
putting in.
McTominay progressed the ball, apparently.
He's a cone.
No. Listen. McTominay going forward versus McTominay defensive is totally different, you know. McTominay is one of the laziest players when it comes to tracking back and looking to mark any player, you know. He's one of the laziest players. That's why he's not Manchester.
I think he does
caliber.
try, but he just not good enough. I think he try, he just not good enough. Yeah.
And to me, what I have been seeing as well is where is the diversity in Ten Hag's tactics? Because today's lineup, first of all, was very predictable. I think everybody would have had an idea that Bruno would have started on the right, McTominay was starting again, Eriksen was coming in. I think most people would have had an idea that this is what the team would have been. Right?
Well, we have a lot of injuries, so not that difficult to predict.
Right, but even with what he does is he has his set formation, and he is just rotating different players to fill the different spots. So you want to have the same formation that you're playing with, the 4-2-3-1, and it's just about who you're playing with. So instead of playing Bruno as number 10, you put McTominay number 10 and you put Bruno on the right. And then, so it's like, if you feel like you don't have a full back four, let me try a back three. Let me play 5 in the middle. Like, try something different. We're not seeing Ten Hag doing something different. And then you're chasing 2 goals and you take off Hoyland to make a sub that didn't make sense, because you put on Garnacho and so try playing with 2 strikers, play 2 on top, do something different.
But I would have agreed with the justification for Hoyland, because what he said in the post match is that Hoyland not accustomed playing 2 or even 3 games per week, where at United it's 3 games per week. and he has to protect him. And I could see that because because City 2 goals up, you're chasing shadows. We have a game coming up,
Against Newcastle.
and to me, I would have agreed with the substitution. But you know what I mean, to each his own, right?
Nico Hoyland is 20 years old.
No, but still,
Exactly.
it's still high.
No,
intensity
exactly.
football.
He's
We
20
see-
years old.
Yeah, but we saw this guy from Everton striker, right? Calvin Lewis.
Calvin
We
Lewin.
see how he has been picking up injuries, and he's a young player as well. So that doesn't, and he's not even playing 3 games a week.
Yeah.
What
And
about-
Hoyland,
what about-
Hoyland still has a back problem. Huh?
What about Bukayo Saka at Arsenal? Tell me about him.
No, because he had some time in the league. And he adjusted in. This is Hoyland's first few months in the league.
This Hoyland
And to
first
me-
few months in the Premier League. Yeah.
Yeah, so to me, he should
Saka played
get
in the
that
Premier League.
that
before.
time to bed into the team.
I understand that point, Nico, but you're 2-0 down at Man City. You're 2-0 down at home against Man
Yeah,
City.
yeah.
You're chasing goals. You're taking off your goal threat. I mean, we don't really have any goal threat in the team at this time, but
Yeah.
you're taking off the man who you bring to get us the goals. To shift Rashford to the center, who low on confidence. To bring on Garnacho, who has not been doing anything special lately.
Yeah.
So to me, the thinking behind it is not a change in tactic. Is a
Yeah.
bringing in somebody to replace somebody to just shift
Mm.
around the team yet again. So we just keep playing this rotating players into different positions,
Yeah.
but in the same formation.
I am with Nico on this one, honestly, because you cannot break Hoyland, honestly. The boy is 20 years old. That's exactly the point. He's
Well,
20
then-
years old.
well,
He
then-
is a
well, then-
young
well, then-
player.
Well,
He's
then
a
those
youth.
start on Wednesday.
Well, who is starting?
Start Martial on Wednesday.
Martial.
Simple.
Martial
Start
can play
Martial on
football?
Wednesday.
Well, I mean, I guess
Playing
it could
football
have
right now.
justification. I guess it could have justification on any side. I guess it could have
Who
justification on
playing
any side.
football right now? Nobody
Right.
playing football in this team right now.
Exactly.
True. That's a fact.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get through the comments, and I have just one more question to ask, and then we will have to wrap it up, right, guys?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so Alan Lewis, what we need to deal with is a lazy approach to how we purchase players before the end of the season. Teams like Chelsea, City, Liverpool, and Arsenal have already identified and approached, and in the final process of buying the players while we wait till the last few days of the transfer window to buy. Yeah. And end up paying more. Yeah, I tell you, this whole structure is a mess. Brunei, right? So we talk about this already. Mickey Rampasar, good night, fellas. I feeling a bit of deja vu. We was doing the same shit last year, right?
We actually
Kid-
beat City at home last year.
Yeah. No, but last season we was okay.
Last
This
season we had a
all
proper
the-
defense. We
Yeah,
had
this
Varane,
season all
Martinez,
the-
and Casemiro in front.
Yeah, all the wheels fall off, right? Akira, good night. Man. I agree with Phil. After Bruno first season, he was figured out. No tactical discipline, runs all over the place, constantly out of position, poor mentality. And I think somebody would have said it before. I think was JP when they talk about after a season at this club, like it's just die. It's something intrinsic. It's something intrinsic in the club itself.
No, Gary Neville said
happens
that I
with
say
Casemiro.
United has become a graveyard for players and coaches.
Yeah,
It's happening with Casemiro right now. Look what's going on with Casemiro.
yeah.
Everybody
yeah.
wasting right now.
Yeah. Christian saying, I see a post earlier, we're at home minutes, where we lead in the game with only 29 minutes, and how much games we already play at Old Trafford. I'm not sure if I read that properly.
I don't know.
Yeah, at home minutes.
Yeah,
Right.
I ain't sure what that comment's saying.
Yeah. Right? Christian saying, Man United does play high IQ football. Laugh, right? Like I be watching a different team. Scotland playing better football than this United team. And I agree. That I said a question mark over Phil with United having high IQ players. I do agree. United are better players, but we doesn't play no kind of football again, right? And again, it could be because of structure, right? And I put that there as well.
He just kind of proved my point. United have better players than Scotland.
Yeah, but I just talking about in terms of the structure and how we look. Scotland is looking at playing football. We don't look like they're playing nothing. You could still identify what Scotland doing. You can identify what Manchester United doing, right? Because I don't know if all of us watch the rest of City games, but Michael Oliver is the one who let the offside goal on City score against Fulham stand, right? He was also the ref in the Arsenal game.
Yeah,
with
Michael
City,
Oliver, real suspect.
where
Yeah.
he didn't send off Kovacevic for the reckless challenge on Rice. Yeah. Alan Lewis, has Rashford been given the Timberland boots from Lukaku because he's become toothless? Yeah, totally agreed with Akida. Yeah. So guys, the last question before we wrap it up, right? And Noam is really a simple one, you know. And I would start with Simeon. Simeon, where do we go from here?
I told Kareem that I wouldn't judge this team until November, because I want to see what Ten Hag does with his full team. I think this team, unless Ten Hag could look at each player and say you played mess and put somebody else on, I don't think we'll go anywhere. Look at guys on the team who has played the game the right way. Look at Pelestri. I don't think it's good enough, but he trying to play the right way. Look at Hannibal. I think he brings so much balance to that team, but he might even get a chance. I mean, why he get run out? I mean, it makes no sense. He would probably did better than Mount. Probably would have done better than Bruno on the right side. Like, he's a much better balanced player than so many of these guys that we bought. But he can't see the team. Menu, I know he's young. I know he, they won't expose him too much, but he needs to play. It's simple.
He was injured. He was injured. No comment.
Yeah. But he's good now. He's good now.
Yeah.
He's
He was
good
on the
now.
bench
So
today.
Well, he had to get back much fitter.
Yeah.
He had to get back much
he
fitter.
played some under 21 games
against
last
City.
week or something like that. But he has to play. I don't care if it's 10, 15 minutes. He has to play. Like, Ten Hag has to let these fellas know, like he's saying, that we get somebody else in there to play positions, to play good football. I mean, he's talking about Martial, how Martial good, and Martial, is a great player. Well, play him then. If Martial's so good, play him.
Yeah.
Don't wait till the 86th minute to be and then for Ten Hag's sake, all these guys he brought in, the Anthony's who come on and embarrass himself, Mount to who he don't start, Aaron Battery. I mean, somebody that he bring in have to show up. Like, the mistakes he has made by himself. I mean, we've made so many mistakes in the past. We can't afford his players to be bust players.
Yeah. Christopher, where do we go from here?
I mean, to me, I'm in the camp of I am not gonna start hyperventilating or freaking out about what is the state of the team, because the state of the team has not changed from however long ago. The state of the team is the state of the team. The state of the club is the state of the club. Right? The season we had last season, I suppose that Ten Hag overperformed and overachieved. But as much as we finished third and we would have won our Carabao Cup and made it a FA Cup final, we still got battered 7-0 and 6-3 by Liverpool and City, respectively, in away matches.
Hey, why you reminding us of that, boy?
Well, I'm not. I'm just saying, the state of the club is the state of the club, right? So where we are right now is no surprise to me, because what has been tearing down this club and rotting in the core of this club slowly for however long, for the better part of a decade, is still there. Because you look at the managers that have come in, Mourinho, that's a horrible manager. Van Gaal, that was a horrible manager, right? You look at Ole, you look at the so-called father of the Gegenpress, Ragnick, and etc., etc. Or, I mean, are all these gentlemen the worst managers in the world? You look at Ten Hag and all. People want to criticize Ten Hag, this, that, that. Look at Ajax without Ten Hag.
Yeah.
Relegation. Because everyone want to say, oh, it wasn't Ten Hag, that's just the Ajax way. So you could put anybody there, the Ajax way will always prevail. So what's going on right now? Why it not prevailing? No, I'm to the Ajax way.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's just, we bring in quality. Ten Hag is a quality manager, right?
I agree.
We do bring in players who have talent as well, good potential, quality players like Casemiro, right? But somehow when they touch down, I don't know if it's the Wharton, Carrington, or whatever it is, the rut they start, right? So
And
to
it-
me,
and it's not the water. It's from right to the top.
yeah, it's
Right
to
to the
me is I am looking at in the sense of I will patiently wait until we see some kind of material change and a structure of the club before I could really start building my hopes up for some kind of performance from the club. And asking for all kind of where the playing style and this and that and that and that. There's absolutely no discipline in that club. I mean, I'm not
Agreed.
going along, but just as an example. To compare, how a CEO is supposed to perform and how a CEO is not supposed to perform. Kylian Mbappe, wanted to run on his contract, right? Didn't want to sign the extension, etc., etc. CEO of PSG, Al Khalifi, came out and intervened. Situation gets solved. Mbappe signing an extension like a good boy. Jadon Sancho, all he needs to do is just give an apology. Can't give an apology yet. And no one in the hierarchy of the club, looking at the fact that this youth getting paid on a weekly basis, a very generous salary. He was a major investment for the club, 70 million plus. And the son is an ongoing, like I say, he getting his salary, this, that. And you have this player who all it needed for him now to be of use to the club, of an asset to the club in the playing squad, is an apology. And they can't get him to apologize yet.
Yeah. No,
'Cause right now
and that's a big thing.
Right now, it's
that's
past
a
the
big
point.
thing.
It's past Ten Hag, because Ten Hag has
Yeah.
exercised all the authority and power he can as the manager of the team. He totally cut the boy out of the team. What else could he do? He can't do nothing else again. And the boy's still not budging.
Yeah.
It is time for the club hierarchy to intervene and say, hey, you are an asset to the club. The club would have spent X amount on you and is paying you X amount. You cannot decide that you're not apologizing.
Exactly. Agreed.
You understand? It just can't happen. You cannot decide. It is not your decision whether you're apologizing or not.
Yeah.
You understand, Richard? I'm supposed to let him know. I'm here to tell you, you shall apologize tomorrow morning at training. Right? Just like how Al Khalifi would have come in and let Mbappe know, I'm here to tell you, you're going to sign the damn extension. And he signed. That's how you had to run it.
Mm-hmm.
When intervention is needed, intervene.
Again, that is to show how toxic this club is, eh?
No, well,
Yeah.
it's the tail wagging the dog, eh?
Exactly.
The tail
Yeah.
wagging the dog. And Mbappe is a player with a greater status than Sancho. But you get him and they could get him in line at PSG, but we can't get this little scrub Sancho in line at Manchester
Yeah.
United. Come now.
Yeah, crazy. Phil? Nice one, Christopher. I like that one.
Yeah. There's only so many times we can mention the Glazers, right? Because at the end of the day, the Glazers don't set the starting 11. They are not on the field. They're only 11 players that can make a difference on the field while playing football for Manchester United. I've already told me and Reem have had this discussion multiple times, and I said to Reem, I've kind of written off 2023. I want to see what 2024 will bring. I kind of predicted based on the transfer window that we had and also the preseason
Yeah.
that we will not we will not start off well this season, right? Look at where we are in the Champions League. That should say it all, right? None of our players have hit the ground running as yet, and you know what? If 2024, who knows? We could be in the Europa League, or wait, when you come last in your group, you still go to the Europa League, or you go?
No. You're out. You're
You gotta
out.
come third. I think you
Yeah,
gotta come third.
you had to
I think
come
you need
third.
I think they need a certain amount of points as well.
Okay, so come January 2024, we could be totally out of Europe or still in Europa League, right?
Yeah.
In terms of Premier League, my predictions have been not changing, but in terms of like where I think we'll finally finish, have been very, very close, and I think we will probably finish either eighth or ninth or seventh when it comes to this Premier League season, based on how we've been performing, right? I will finish off on this note saying that I will not judge Ten Hag as yet, but some of his decisions are questionable, right? When we have a fully fit squad, I want to see what Ten Hag can do with this fully fit squad for 5, 6, 7, up to 10 games consecutively, right? Ten Hag has been given a 3-year contract, and then after that 3-year contract, or in the middle of the 2.5 years, going to come down to 3 years, that's going to come to an end, then we should start judging Ten Hag, right? I'm not Ten Hag out, but there's some questionable decisions. There's some decisions that are questionable based on Ten Hag this season. So, yeah.
Yeah. Who didn't go? Simeon?
Yes, I mean.
Okay.
No, yeah. I mean, I already said, but I want to say one thing. Like, I like to when you get beat, I like to listen to the coach, like the coach of the other team talk, because sometimes they can say something that you'll pick up. They won't say it out clear, but you can pick up some things. And Pep was talking about Bernardo Silva. And somebody think he said about Bernardo Silva. You realize we don't have. He was talking about, his greatest player. He said, what he said? Let me see. He said he doesn't wear earrings or tattoos. He drives a normal car, and he loves to play at Old Trafford too. And like little things, like you see the kind of, it's bad when a team that's beating you have like these attributes that you want from your players. You don't care about the all the nonsense. You just care about playing football. Love playing Old Trafford. I like. You look at our team and all our players driving. You see, Rashford. Crashing car the other day. Look at car is more worth 3 times my house.
Yeah.
It's like, what do our players care about, and what does his players care about?
Mhm.
And you see it in their play. They don't care about me. Haaland could have gone for his hat trick. He passed the ball to Foden. Like little things like that. I mean, you just see the gap, not just in skill, but in mentality.
Yeah, for sure.
Haaland was doing this, and I was so mad. I was so mad when Haaland did this. I was boiling, but at the same time, it's a different mentality them fellas have.
Yeah,
And that made it hard for me. Like when you see a team beating you, but you also see that team have such a high level, you see why they're doing it. It's not like they do something wrong. It's like they doing something wrong. I mean, they FFP, but still on the field, you see what they're doing, and your team can't get that together. It's just hard, man. It's just hard as a fan, man. Hard.
Yeah. JP, you went already?
Nine.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, we going from here. Well, apart from what happened at the top with the takeover, I think we will see what happened when that happened.
Yeah.
But in terms of the footballing aspect of things, I really want to see Ten Hag show a little more. because to me, the sign of a great manager is being able to adapt. Fergie was always able to adapt. He was always able to adapt to football when it was changing, and that's how he was always able to produce great teams and win title after title. Ten Hag has to be able to show that he can adapt. He has to be able to show trust in other players as well, because I can't understand what Hannibal has or has not done to not be given another chance, because to me he brought good energy to the team, good pass, and it was he came on and scored a really good goal as well.
Yeah.
So I can't understand why Hannibal not getting a shout. But McTominay, who just put in a few goals, and other than that, his performances have not
Nothing. Yeah.
he did nothing else in the game.
Yeah.
Other than that, he's still getting chance after chance. So
Even Mount coming on in ahead of Hannibal. More Mount
Yeah,
really coming on to do.
and I don't understand it, So to me, I want to see, because yes, we have the problems with what we're on at the top, but if the problem at the top solved, and Ten Hag still choosing who he choosing to play, and not giving players a chance, not benching Bruno when Bruno deserves a bench, then what would be the club position at that point in time? Because I still back Ten Hag at this point in time, but he's starting to do some things that have me questioning. Is it that is higher up saying certain players have to play? Because it seemed like manager after manager we having the same discussion where certain players have to play.
Yeah.
Or is it that we hiring these stubborn managers who come in and picking the favorites and then choosing to play the favorites? So that is what I want. What I want going forward is to see diversity in the manager's tactics and using the players we have at his disposal.
Yeah, I agree, and I kinda on that same vein as well. I want to see a bit more attacking intent. I think we do create chances. You see how much work Hoyland has been putting out on top and feeding off our scraps. I think that I think we have the players that will create more. I think they're playing within themselves because of instructions from the manager, but I think that the manager needs to be a little more creative to help us to create, or help the players to create chances. And I think that in itself could boost the morale of the team when a team creating chances, and the moment that started to happen, then I think the players will start to score goals. However, I think we're really struggling to create. And to me, that's the frustrating part to me. I can understand that, hey, sometimes we're on the back foot, sometimes we're under pressure, but when we had the ball, let we do something with it. Let we have a plan, let we be able to create chances, and that is what I want to see going forward. So again, guys, that would have brought us to the end of the review tonight. I'm sure some of you are going to sleep better than you all, that you all would have if you didn't come on the live. No, it has helped me, It has helped me 100%, It has really helped. It has really helped, So again, thanks guys. And again, when we play, is Newcastle also our next game?
Wednesday, Newcastle, boy. Yep.
Yeah, Wednesday, Newcastle. Yeah, so
in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
And they're going to be gunning for we because we beat them in the final last season.
And then you can't even go into that game with any kind of optimism because
Newcastle flying right now.
For the entire season, we haven't been playing well. We struggled to beat Copenhagen at home, and we only won because Onana saved a penalty. And we could have lost. So, and
Newcastle are such a high energy team. They're gonna
as Christian saying here, minutes where we were leading at Old Trafford is only 29 minutes, right? And
Oh,
yeah,
that's what you
and
mean. Oh, good.
yeah, and we
That's horrible.
we played real games at Old Trafford so far. This is very poor. We just always be chasing the game, you know. Yeah, and it's
That's
terrible.
horrible.
And that had to improve because we play a lot of games at home all year, and the performance is not, you know, it really underwhelming, you know. So yeah, so that is the end of the review, guys. And see you on the next one.
All right, fellas.
Yeah, man.
Take it easy.
Yes, sir.